You're listening to All That with Nikki and Cat,
a podcast featuring real stories from real people who are real relatable.
Our goal is to bring you entertainment, knowledge, and an inside look on topics in line with health, wellness, and personal growth.
Tune in every Tuesday to join us on our journey. Let's get real.
Am I saying enough in the actual podcast? You're not going to sing for me now?
Push it. Push it good.
Push it real good. Hey, y'all.
What's up?
Wouldn't be a podcast if Nikki didn't start out singing and I didn't just say, all right, y'all, and ignore her. All right, so this is episode 3.
Woo-hoo.
So this week we had Carly on. So Carly has been my friend like forever. We grew up on this little dead-end street together. Just someone that's very, very, very near and dear to my heart. She has one of those just magnetic, I have to get to know you personalities. Nikki can definitely attest to that because it was like the second you met her, you just want to be her friend. So that is who Carly is. Extremely down to earth, ridiculously funny, been through a ton of shit. Just an all-around great person, and we were super happy to have her on the show. When we were like brainstorming, I don't know what that was, sorry. When we were brainstorming like who we wanted to have on and like what types of episodes we were looking to have, she was definitely one of the first people on the list. Just really great story, really inspirational. Talked a lot about her experiences with depression, which led to substance abuse, which led to self-hatred, which led to a decision. You either get yourself out or you don't. And she fortunately gets to tell us a tale of what it's like on the other side. Her experience with self-love, her experience with discovering that you are enough. And I think her story is really beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that what she's been through and how she dealt with it is a huge inspiration. You know, she's been through a lot, and most people don't,
They discredit instead of credit.
Right.
And honestly, like, if you haven't been through it, then that's undeserving credit. Like, people don't give credit where credit's due all the time, and I really think that Carly deserves a lot more credit than what she gets.
I agree.
She's been through a lot. She maintains such a positive, uplifting attitude. She has come so far, and she was just truly, truly a blessing to have on the show. And she made us laugh. She made us cry. She touched our hearts, and exactly like we had predicted, she was a complete joy to have on.
And we fucking love her.
We fucking love her. So we hope you guys enjoy. So Carly and I go way back. She is my oldest, truest friend. We met on a dead-end street of Roosevelt. In Taylor.
Not like Teddy or Eleanor, though.
I love you.
But yes, like them. Anywho. So we definitely go way back. So a little bit about your childhood. So what was it like for you growing up on Roosevelt? Because I was just a Roosevelt part-timer.
On Roosevelt, it was a dead end. Just like my life. No, I'm kidding. I don't know, man. It was good. It was bad, really. It makes you who you are where you grow up,
Yeah. We had, I was just thinking about it the other day because when we were recording with the guys, we talked a lot about, our childhoods and stuff. And how fucking classic is it that we lived on a dead-end street? We had, the same 5 little friends. There was, a little creek. And when the streetlights came on, your ass better be home. And if you ever heard that woman's whistle, I've never seen a fire be lit under that girl's ass or her sister's ever in my life. And if Dad had to come to the door because you didn't listen to the whistle,
The whistle is it haunts my dreams. It really does.
can you whistle?
No, not like my mom.
Oh, was it like the?
Yep.
It was
Oh
just
my
like
God,
these two fingers and she put it on.
Yes. Yes.
I can't do it.
My Meemaw used to do that. Still, actually, so I can relate.
Bro, I don't know how people do that. It's kind of crazy.
I don't know either.
All right,
Voodoo.
so Carly's also like my go-to for like remembering anybody that I don't talk to every day. Like she'll be like, "Don't you remember this person or don't you remember that person?" I was like, "No."
Anything I don't remember, Cat remembers. Anything Cat doesn't remember, I remember.
See,
Huh.
it's like our brains. They fill
It's
in
like
the
a
holes.
50-50. 2 + 2 = 4. I'm going to try my hardest not to do as many impressions as I can.
No, it's part
Accents.
of you.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, that's part of you. We like it. So you're a mom.
I'm a mom. Sometimes it's still hard to believe. But you know what? He's really completed my life. Because, like, a lot of times I kind of just wandered through life and felt so lost. You know what I mean? And then as soon as Bronson was born, it was like, this is what I was meant to do, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's like that piece of you
Yeah,
that you were always kind of looking for.
exactly. Really. Because, I mean, like, not a lot of people, but not a lot of people suffer from, like, depression and all that kind of stuff, you know? And sometimes it really gets the best of you, and you wonder, like, what am I even here for? Why am I on this earth, really? But, you know, Bronson really put that into perspective for me, because I feel like ever since he was born, I never had to wonder why I was here, you know?
I think that's
was-
fucking great.
It was a life-changing experience. They say the ones who are unplanned are really like the lifesavers.
Sorry guys, it's 4th of July and I have dogs with really bad anxiety, so we figured the best solution was for them to be in the room with us so they weren't barking their heads off and being really terrified. But they're whining, so they're whining, we're whining,
This
We're
is
just
gonna
trying to
be a
do a
whiny
podcast,
ass
Sam.
episode.
and it's a German Shepherd, so if anyone has a German Shepherd,
They're vocal. They're
all
real
they do is
vocal.
whine. Oh, it's fine. So, you just mentioned depression. So, I know that you've struggled with that in the past. So, like, what age would you say that started?
I feel like I literally remember the first time I ever cried just for like no reason, or what I felt like was no reason, you know? And it was like, I think it was like 7th grade. 7th grade, where I was just like, why am I so sad? And I didn't have the answer for it, you know?
Yeah. That's crazy. So, we were what, like 12, 13?
Yeah,
That's nuts.
it is.
I'm so
crazy.
glad that mental health is like coming to the surface and it's starting to get some more like appreciation and some notice and some, you know, like recognition that it's an actual issue. People aren't just making
Well,
it up.
people don't realize too, it's just as important as physical health.
Absolutely.
Like it really is.
Oh,
If
it's
anything,
even
it's
more
more
so.
important.
Like your
I feel.
brain is everything. Like without mental health, without brain health, like
You know, and
physical
like,
health really doesn't even mean anything.
I feel like our parents, like, they were taught to, you know, not talk about that, put it aside.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. But now it's like you really have to deal with that situation when it arises, or it will just put you into a spiral. And a lot of times people don't ever get out of that, you know, especially if you don't have the kind of support that like knows how to deal with that kind of thing, you know?
Did you have support?
No, really. I mean, to this day, I feel like my parents would say, it's all in your head, you know? So I feel like I had to learn how to deal with that on my own, you know? But I also feel like that is a big thing that made me strong,
Yeah.
you know, because I really didn't have a lot of support there, you know. You kind of just, a lot of people don't know what it's like to have to deal with that on their own, because a lot of people do have emotionally supportive parents. But when your parents don't know how to be emotionally supportive towards themselves, then I feel like they can't,
Right.
or
Like,
they
can't
don't
pour from
know.
an empty cup.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, they didn't have it to give. It wasn't like they were choosing not to.
Right, exactly. And I mean, like, I know my parents did the best that they could do. That, you know, I don't hold that against them, but, you know, it's like, to a certain extent, you just, sometimes you got to learn how to deal with your problems on your own, you know?
Well, when was the first time that you sought out help? Like,
I feel like maybe like 17. I feel like my mom took me to a doctor, you know, a psychologist or whatever, because when you're underage you don't go see a psychologist or a psychiatrist who prescribes you drugs,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So a psychologist, and it was like, hey, maybe you should like devote your time to like an animal shelter or something like that. And it's like, really, because I don't feel like that's gonna help me out, you know? Is that too I mean, is that too raw? Because
No.
I mean, like, I feel
No,
like
I mean, yeah, you didn't want someone to be like, oh, you're just not, like, exerting yourself enough.
you learn a lot of things in life, and you're taught a lot of things in life, but I feel like one thing you're not always taught is how to love yourself, you know?
For
I
real.
feel like we kind of had that conversation on the way over here. Like, nobody ever really teaches you how to love yourself. And if you have parents who teach you how to love yourself, it's like you're one of the lucky ones, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's one of those things that'll help you succeed in life.
Oh, God, yeah, it's made a huge difference. So, like, the actual conversation that we had was that, like, if you have someone that, like, loves and appreciates your body, that it makes you love and appreciate your body 10 times more. And if you have someone that, like, speaks and acts negatively towards your appearance, be it superficial or not, like, that's going to be damaging for you.
So damaging, and a lot of people don't realize that until they even like are in a new relationship. They don't realize what the old relationship did to them, really, you know?
Yeah, love is blind, man. That's a real thing. 'Cause,
Love
like,
is
you
so
look
blind.
past so much shit because you love someone. You know, and hopefully you don't end up in the situation where it backfires, but a lot of the times you do, you know?
Yeah.
That's where you come out on the other side and you're like, damn.
Love is deep, man, and a lot of times it's just not deep enough, really. I mean, especially if one person is giving more than the other person, they don't realize, like, you can dull somebody's soul.
So draining.
It's so draining. It really is. You never realize, like, how, until everything is over, like, the storm has calmed and you're like, damn, you know? Like, you don't really realize it until you realize it. You know what I'm saying?
I do, dude.
It's crazy.
And I'm happy that you get to go through that right now. Okay, so let's dial it back. So you first sought out help for depression when you were 17.
17, yeah. Depression is it's a wild ride, especially, like I said, if you don't have the right support, if you don't have the right guidance, like, you gotta kind of deal with that shit on your own, you know?
Yeah, so how did you? Like, what was, like, your go-to to help you on a dark day? Or
To be completely honest, I feel like I didn't learn how to deal with depression until, like I said, after Bronson was born. Like, I feel like you can get caught in such a downward spiral, but, like, you can stay there. You can choose to either stay there or you can choose to realize what you're dealing with. And if you don't catch yourself, then it'll go deeper and deeper and darker. And not until I was, like, I want to say 25. I would say a good 7 to 8 years I was dealing with, like, you know, depression can lead to, like, substance abuse, which is obviously something that I have dealt with as well, but, you know, it's a wild ride.
so what would you say to someone that was in the thick of depression right now?
it will be better. It can get better as long as you can tell yourself that there will be brighter days, you know, to not let yourself fall into that hole. You cannot stay in that hole. You can stay there for a couple days, but you really have to want to dig yourself out of that hole. You have to want to see the light, you know, at the end of the tunnel. You have to want to, you know, feel like everything will be okay. And a lot of people a lot of people get stuck in that, you know, I feel like a lot of people, they just want it to be that bad. You know, you have to want to be positive. You have to want it to be better before it will ever get better, you know?
So like an almost, just to be blunt, like you almost have to tell yourself to stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, when you don't have that kind of support system, it is so much easier to fall into that hole and stay there, you know, because I feel like a lot of people don't have, like our parents are from, I don't want to say the olden times, but they're from a different
Gen
time.
X's.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they're from a completely different time than we're from, you know, and they don't, it's kind of like a sweep it under the rug kind of thing, you know, into where our generation, it's like, it is being brought to the light. Mental health is so much more important than a lot of people realize, you know what I mean? So it's like, you really gotta want to get yourself out of that hole. You want to make yourself better. You want to know that it's gonna get better. And not a lot of people can dig themselves out of that, you know?
It's kind of what I love about our generation is there's really not anything that's like not normal.
Exactly.
Everything's so normalized.
And
with
we're
us.
not afraid to, you know, deal with the problem at hand, you know, whereas, well, like, I feel like even my parents now, I don't want to say my parents, but a lot of people's parents, it's like just, if you ignore it, if you look the other way, it's going to go away, and that's not how problems are these days. You know, I feel like it's, if you don't deal with the problem at hand, it's never going to go away, you know?
Right, it's crazy to think that, like, that was even a thought process.
Isn't that crazy? It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I feel like there's so much more that could be said about that situation and depression in general.
Remember those fireworks I was telling you about, guys? That was a big one. Happy 4th.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 10th.
That's my
when this comes
birthday.
out. It's gonna be. Oh, so side note, when this airs, y'all, it's gonna be Miss Carly's birthday.
28.
28.
It's time for it's a new day.
Yes, it is.
We're all new. We're new people, you know?
It's so
Which-
cool. Like I think that
Yeah.
that's a constant for like every podcast lately is the whole new at 28 thing. Because
Dude, it's
seriously
so
there's
real.
something in
Yes.
the air right now. We are all just like feeling super foggy.
I swear, when I turned 28, I literally felt like I was becoming a new person.
You
And I've
really,
said this before, but I really did. Like, it's so weird, but I really did.
and it's like such a positive.
Yeah.
It's such a positive.
Yeah, it's not a negative thing. It was super positive. It's crazy.
It's like a whole new light.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's like you're leaving all the drama behind, all the bullshit. It's like you are set
Yep.
to be this person, you know, like this positive, well, maybe not everybody, but I feel like at least the three of us in this room, it's like 28 is such a good thing for us.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Yes, for sure, dude. So, just because you just showcased kind of how like positive you are, like it hasn't always been that way. Carly used to be a borderline pessimist. Carly has always been funny as fuck, genuine as fuck, down to earth as fuck, but she also used to be pessimistic.
When you're raised by a pessimist, it's a
like,
lifestyle you almost
I
fall
saw
into.
this quote. It was on Ginny Mai. She's on The Real. It was on her Instagram. Shout out to The Real if we ever get that big. Girls.
Real.
They need a chubby white girl on there because that would be a well-rounded table. So I'm putting my
Rounded.
bid out that, yeah. Anyways, it was on her Instagram, and it was talking about the past, and it was like, from your past, you either grow wise or wounded. And I
That is so
fucking
true.
love that,
That is
because
so
that
true.
is so true. You either stay wounded from the past that you've had, or you grow wise from it.
You know, in a lot
And
of
I think that you've kind of done both.
I feel like also you kind of move on from the people who see you as that wounded person, you know, and like the people who are going to see you as that new person. You
Remember
know,
what I told you?
Those are the
I was
people who
talking
you
to
want to
someone
be
the other
around.
day, who's kind of not liked a person for a few years, and I was like, you got to give them a chance to grow. Like, if everybody judged me on who I was at 19 compared to who I am now, like, you don't even know me.
19 was scary.
Right, you don't even know. I don't even know that person anymore.
I feel like even at 25, you don't even know who you are.
right,
Right.
seriously,
You know?
27. I feel so different now than I did at 27.
And that was
And I
not
really-
even a year ago, you know?
I just told you as we were pulling down the street, I was like, when people used to say that shit, I was like, yeah, okay, bitch. Like, we
Like,
all
you
know
can't
you're the
change
same.
in a year.
But now that I've, like, gone through it, I mean, like, damn, you go, girl. All right.
You gotta, man.
So,
You really, I feel like there's a lot of times in your life where you can either become who you were or you could become who you want to be. And if you're going to stay who you were, it's just going to hold you back, you know? You got to want to be that different person.
absolutely.
And you don't want to surround yourself with those people who see you as the person who you were in the past, you know? Those people, you're going to wean them out. Slowly but surely, even if it's the people you love the most, you know, you're going to distance yourself from
Yeah,
those people.
you no longer have things in common with those people.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so you mentioned substance abuse.
That's
It's
a
a hot
deep
button.
that's a
But-
deep dark hole.
I do feel like there are a lot of people out there struggling with it, and everyone's substance is different, so that doesn't have to be specific. I think it all kind of falls in line. When you have that issue, you have that issue. It doesn't matter what the substance is. But I think a lot of people could benefit from how you have managed to go from the lowest of lows in your life to where you are now, because you've done a complete 360. And if that's not inspiring, I don't know what is.
Well, I feel like it kind of goes back to not having, you know, a lot of support at those times in your life. And I feel like when I was going through that, I pushed a lot of people away in my life who loved me, you know, so then you kind of just end up alone. You kind of end up by yourself, and you kind of only really have yourself at those kind of times. And, you know, you can either, like I said, you could stay there, or you can, a lot of people aren't lucky enough to want to better themselves. A lot of people are not lucky enough to, you know, they just spiral, and they spiral down and down and down, and that ends up being who they are, you know. And I feel like there are very few people who want to get out of that, because I feel like when you're alone and all you have is your substance, that is who is there for you. That substance is there for you when nobody else is, you know. But if you're lucky enough to realize that, you know, say you wake up in the morning, and though that's the time where you're not, I'll say, high, you know what I mean? When you're not high and you realize how alone you are, you know, it's like, is this who I want to be? Is this literally what I want to be in 5 years, 10 years, you know? And there are a lot of people who are that in 5 and 10 years. And you got to want to, you know, kind of
Now,
get
do you-
yourself out of that, I guess.
Do you think that because of that thought process is why they then decide to use again
Absolutely.
to forget that feeling?
Over and over and over again. And I feel like the only reason that I ever decided to continue with that kind of thing was because you cover up your feelings. You know, to a certain point, you really, a lot of people will loathe in that feeling, and getting, again, I'll say high, is, it helps you cover up all that hurt, you know, all of those people who you pushed away, all of those people who aren't in your life anymore that you want so badly to be in your life, you know. And the only way that those people are going to get back in your life is if you're not that person anymore. Because a lot of people want to distance themselves from people who use substances, you know what I mean? Or who become that substance, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what was like your first step you took to helping yourself?
I guess realizing that, and I'll say a lot of people are lucky enough to have their parents by their side when they're at their lowest point, but there are some people who aren't lucky enough to have their parents by their sides, you know what I mean? So it's like, when not even who you want to be your biggest fan is there to help you, and you realize all you have is yourself, you know? Sometimes all you really do have is yourself.
Better than me. I'm a bad talker. But it's your story, so you know what I mean? Like, you're not rambling. Not to me, anyway.
We're not rambling.
No, you're
I have
good.
pizza sauce on my face.
It's just the pizza grease. It's not Tia's.
Yeah.
I
I
just
did
wanna
get
make sure
teary-eyed
eventually we
when you
get
were
to a-
talking. I didn't want to bawl, though. I don't know how it would sound in here, so I was, like, trying to, like, not. But I knew it would
it's just-
happen.
It's real shit, dude. And I know that, like, it's a part of you that you've, like, buried or tried to forget about.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, like, you know, it's the house that built you. So I think, like, you have everything to be proud of.
It took me a long time to get where I am now. That's for sure. That's for sure. Any dark cloud or any storm that I went through, it definitely has helped me see the, like, light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? The rainbow on a fucking stormy day.
Right. Like, honestly, like, the woman that you are today, do you, like... Could you imagine yourself just as this, like, perfect person that never went through anything in life? And
Never.
would you even want to? You
No,
know?
absolutely not. I feel like anything that I've been through has formed me and shaped me into being, like, I feel like you're not going to be as positive or want to be as positive or want to change, you know, who you are or whatever if you don't go through some shitty ass shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like I've been through a lot of shit. You know what I mean? I feel like you tell me that a lot. Like, you have been through so much shit. And I feel like the people who really love you and support you the most, they're going to, you know, see you as a completely different person than you see yourself. Ending my relationship with somebody who wasn't supportive, I would say emotionally at all. I've become so alive, you know, I really have. I feel like it's like a whole new world that I'm, like, living in, you know? And I don't want to say anything to hurt anyone's feelings. I really don't, because that's the last thing I want to do. But, like, you will never be enough to the wrong person, you know?
Never.
You will never be enough. You'll never say the right things. You'll never look right. You'll never act right. Like, to the wrong person, you're just the wrong person, to be blatantly honest about it.
Yeah, and then it's like, instead of realizing that, like, when you're in the middle of it, you blame yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Either you blame yourself or the person that you're with blames you so much that you literally start to believe that you're the problem. You know, you don't even think that, like, maybe, like, they could be a problem too, but if somebody makes you feel like you're the problem enough, you're gonna start to believe that, you know?
So, like, when did you first start to realize that you weren't the issue? That, like, when could you first stop blaming yourself? Is, I guess, a less incriminating way to say it.
I feel like there's somebody who, like, kind of helped me. One of my friends that I work with kind of helped me realize, like, hey, Carly, dude, like, I can't sit back here and just watch you continuously blame yourself and only yourself, like, because when a problem arises, I feel like it's not just one person, you know, when it comes to a relationship. it can really mess you up if somebody isn't willing to take the blame for their own actions whatsoever. You know, if you're only being to blame, if that person thinks that they're perfect, you know what I mean? Like, it's never gonna.
What would you say to someone that feels like they're stuck? Say they have kids, they've been together for however long, their money's however tangled, they live together, everything's tangled. They feel stuck.
I feel like the only thing that I could really say is, like, yes, even the thought or the idea of not being with that person, it can literally destroy you. But at the end of the day, it can save your fucking life. It really can. It could save your life, because if you know in your gut that, like, you're never going to be enough, you will never be enough for a certain person, like, you know that, you know, like, there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you could say to be enough to a certain person, you know, like, I feel like
Do you think that you
it
can
gets better.
finally say that not only were you enough, but the opposite? That it was actually the other way around?
That they were enough, or that I was
Or
enough?
were not?
I really feel like it all depends. I really do. I feel like I'm just going to stem it down to say that, like, sometimes you meet somebody and no matter what, you want them to be your person, but I feel like in the depths of your soul, if you feel like that's not your person, you know, like, sometimes you meet somebody and you want to love them so bad, but if you really feel like in your gut, never go against your intuition. Never go against your intuition. That is one thing that I have learned through this entire thing, is, like, if you know, you fucking know. You know what I mean? Like, you know that you'll never be enough. Like, somebody can make you feel that you will never be enough, but in reality, you are enough. You will be enough to the right person, you know? Like, I feel like it's such a huge topic that could be touched on, like, so many different things, you know? I don't know. Ask me a specific question and maybe I could answer that. Like, that is such a huge thing to have one specific answer to, you know?
All right.
All right.
So we'll lighten it up for like a second.
Because there is a light at the end of the fucking tunnel, you know what I'm saying?
So for like a brief moment, I did get to LOL at Carly because, like, we're all older in this room. We're not old, but
We're 28. 28 is still ripe.
it is
Real
it is.
ripe.
But compared to, like, the youngins on, like, the dating scene, we're a little bit older, right? So can we
All I gotta
please
say is
LOL
fuck
at Carly's
Tinder.
experience?
All you do is
'Cause
swipe
she was
left or
like,
swipe
wait,
right.
I didn't-
Like,
I
it's
didn't know about
bullshit.
this. What?
So Carly was like, I don't know, tell me about your Tinder experience. I just
Tinder,
wanna know.
I honestly, the only thing I have to say about Tinder is fuck Tinder. Like, you don't get nowhere in life on Tinder. Like, nowhere.
Tom and Keek met on Tinder.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to Tom and Keek.
Shout
guess that's a
out
thing
to
we do on
Tom
here
and
now.
Keek. I feel like when you have a kid, fuck Tinder. How's that? Okay, they don't have
Wait,
kids.
did they ask you that?
They don't,
It's like,
I feel
kids,
like
yes
you-
or no?
no. So no.
They don't.
I feel
ask?
like I put a picture of, like, hey, look, I got a little one in this picture. Obviously, he's mine.
Right. So
That's
that
all
way,
I
like,
really can say about that.
The question's already answered.
And you know what? I'm not gonna say fuck Tinder, because you can meet some
You
decent
said it
ass.
several
I
times.
said fuck Tinder several times, but I feel like it. Not always fuck Tinder, but in a generalization of Tinder.
I was like, if you ever meet anyone for there, you need to tell me exactly where you're at, exactly what his fucking name is. I want to see a picture of his face. And you better
Yes.
text me like 911 and I will get you the hell out of there.
But we gotta realize that I am not one of those people who like to meet random people. I like knowing someone for a while, and then it's like,
for
hey,
at
I
least
might
10
like
years before I will even acknowledge
Literally
you.
10 years. Okay, I say 5 years. 5 years is a good
I feel like though, if that was Carly and she was like, guys, I'm gonna go to the movies with this guy I met on Twitter, me and Kat would be the one.
Tinder.
Oh, I'm so
She meant Tinder.
Kat and I would be the ones to be in like the way top row, just watching.
And now that is
That's
what
too
you
far.
call
I'm 3
support.
rows back, and I better see 4 hands at all times.
Yes.
I was a kid once too, you know.
Oh man, I'm not one of those people who like to meet random people though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
no.
I gotta be comfortable with you in order to like be like, hey, let's go eat some food. Even food, like I'm not gonna eat in front of a random person.
Oh,
Like,
you're one of those.
I'm not one of those because I just feel like you're judging me. You know what I mean? Stop judging me.
I mean, I guess, but odds are they're eating too.
I feel
I mean,
like
they're not
gonna
just
be
going to invite
watching
you out
eat,
to
though.
watch you eat.
No, they will.
There probably are people out there.
I'm
like
just
that these
saying
days,
they
though.
will.
I don't know. Like I've been in a relationship for so long. I don't know. I was just talking to someone about this. I've been in a relationship for so long that I would not want to be, like I don't know how to get comfortable with someone.
I'm dating retarded. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
that's a thing.
technically, both of you would be dating retarded because you're married.
No, I know, but like I'm literally was like bred in captivity. So if I was ever released in the wild, I would surely die.
You might. You might. You're absolutely. But I would be there to
Madagascar
protect
when
you.
they get in New
I would
York, that's
protect both of your asses because I've been through enough shit. I got this. I got
You'd be like,
this.
"Do I
I'll just
swipe right
put
or
you
left?"
under
'Cause I
my
keep
cape.
forgetting.
I literally don't
And
know.
Not
my
even
matches
under
are
my
so
wing.
messed
You're
up
under my
now.
cape.
I really don't know how to work.
I don't know if you swipe right or left. Do you swipe right or left?
Wait, what's left?
I feel
what's
like
right?
left means like, nah, you're not cute. But right means like,
Loser.
hey,
Yeah, because you're taking the loser side.
loser, double loser.
Whatever.
I feel like right means like, hey, I think you're cute. Left means like, hey, get
It's the
fucked.
right move.
It's the right move. But
Oh,
is
see?
it really?
If we're correct, then you can use those analogies. L for loser and left. Right for right move. It's the
No.
right move.
But it's Tinder. You know?
Okay, so you got like a taste of what it's like to date.
Oh
now.
God, I don't ever want to do that again.
I'm serious. I feel like it's awful. It's all about like nudes and
Well,
like that
everyone
instant
says Tinder is
gratification.
the hooking up app, and I'm not one of those people to be like, "Hey, I just met you, let's go." You know,
Right.
Right,
I'm not
yeah, I
one
don't
of
get that.
those. I
No,
am
dude,
not.
there's
one of
too
those.
much going on these days.
I don't know how people can do that. Like, hey, like a
Hey,
one night
I'm
stand.
Kylie. Let's
Don't
go.
even know who they are.
No,
Don't know how people do that.
No,
I feel like so many.
that Carrie Underwood did.
Carrie Under.
She didn't even know his last name.
Oh, and no, I get it. I get it. that was a bad joke.
And now I cackled. That was, I think, my first cackle of the podcast. I'm sorry.
The first cackle.
Cat.
Okay, so shut
Let's
up.
get real. Cat Cole.
That was a really bad joke.
We got 2 bad jokes. Tally 'em.
One,
That was a knee
2.
slapper.
Oh God, we got 3 bad jokes.
I mean, was that a joke?
Write 'em on the board.
It was
Write 'em on the
funny.
board.
We got 4 bad jokes.
4 bad jokes, so we neither of us have one more tally to cross it
Oh
off.
my God! All right, so before we lose everybody to this podcast, I think obviously, so you transitioned through substance abuse. We talked about that, but I still think like the biggest transition for you, which I mean, kind of sort of happened to happen, at the same time, was transitioning into being a mom.
Oh, motherhood. I would say a lot of people are scared of it, but I feel like it's the most beautiful, beautiful fucking thing you could ever encounter in your life, especially if you feel lost. If you feel lost in this world, it will give you a purpose. Maybe not to everybody, because you hear some awful, awful fucking stories. You know what I mean? But I feel like if, in my case anyways, like I said, for so long, I just felt like I was just this lost soul wandering around the world. I had no purpose in the world. And when it comes to depression, a lot of times it's dark, but I want to say there are suicidal thoughts. There are, and I'm going to say, if you are ever dealing with suicidal thoughts, if you're ever dealing with maybe not thinking about not being here on this earth or in this world or in this universe, there will be a time where you think to yourself, like, damn, this right here is the reason why I never acted on what I thought about. There will be a time where you're like, this is why I am still here. This is absolutely why I'm still here, because Bronson was that for me. He was definitely that for me. He gave me a purpose in life, that's for sure. That's for sure. It made me see the beauty of the world when a lot of times there is nothing, where you feel like there's nothing, you know what I mean? It can get dark. A lot of people know how dark it can get, but a lot of people have no idea how dark it can get. And that's all I'm going to say. Bronson is my savior. And I feel like, obviously, I'm his mom. I help him, go through the world, but he'll never know how he saved my life. That's for sure. He saved me. I can honestly say my baby saved my life. Let's not get too emotional here, ladies. I'll just say Bronson saved me. That's for sure.
And that's why we love him so much. And he's pretty fucking cute, so he makes it pretty easy.
I'm not going to be...
he's a good boy.
He's such a good boy.
Aww.
I love my babies.
How old is he?
3.5.
Ooh.
He just hit his little 3.5 mark, the half-year mark. Man,
and he
he's
talks so much.
full of spunk, that's for sure. Keeps me on my toes. Sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I can't deal with you, kid, but he gives you life.
Is he into like any favorite movies or?
Right now, I feel like it's The Incredibles. The Incredibles.
Me too, Brad.
His dad took him to see Incredibles 2 the other day, and before that, I had to make him watch The Incredibles all day. Per dad's request.
Can you just respect the pregame?
Per dad's request. So, I feel like it's The Incredibles. And then today he was sitting there and he was like, man, I love Hot Wheels. So it's like Hot Wheels and The Incredibles.
Aww.
Okay, so because I just watched Miss Congeniality the other day, and they do the beauty pageant, and they're like, what's your ideal date?
My ideal date?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that whole Netflix and chill.
But like the for real Netflix and chill, or like the for real Netflix and chill?
The for real Netflix and chill.
Oh.
Literally, like, they got a movie on Netflix, order a pizza. I'm a mom now, girl. I'm a mom. There's no wild nights unless the boy's gone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. No, I have dogs. I don't know what
Let's be real here, okay? Because we've all known each other for a while, so it can get hot.
I'm sorry.
I feel like there's some things we shouldn't talk about.
All right, noted. So, you've kind of always been like my earthier, like hippie friend, whatever. Like my whole life, I was always kind of like the uptight one. But I feel like we kind of meet in the middle.
Right.
Nice now, right?
Yeah.
We're
No,
nice.
I feel like
you've like
You're talking about how far I've come, but let's
Calm
talk
down,
about
Mia.
how far you've come. Wait.
How far have I come?
We'll ask Nick about that, okay? I don't know about none of that. I just
That
mean
was
like
last
personality wise.
podcast, It needs to stay there.
I just
No,
mean
but-
like,
No, I have. I used to be really uptight.
man, I would say you are definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to get my life straight.
Oh.
I wanted you back in my life, man. That's for sure. I feel like my addiction pushed you the furthest. But look at where we are now.
I know.
Hello.
Sitting in Nick's studio.
Studio.
And the sky is blue in here, isn't it? It's
Is
great.
that why it's blue?
Remember, we painted this room. And we didn't paint the
Girl.
ceiling. Now the ceiling's blue. Do you remember?
I feel like that is a sign.
We painted this room right when I first moved in here. And that corner has driven me nuts ever since. Because I'm a nut job. And it's a different color gray. Just in that corner.
It needs a new paint job. Let's everybody
It
just.
definitely does. You coming over?
I'll help you paint. I will help you paint. That's for sure.
But no, I've changed a lot. Nikki's changed a lot. You've changed a lot. Like, it's good to be 28.
Dude,
Just-
20.
I feel like it just comes
You've still
back
got
to
another
that.
week in your baby shoes.
7
Yeah.
days. 7 days. I'll be 28 in 7 days. And you know what? I feel
You
like.
already feel it coming though, right?
I've been saying I'm
Yeah.
28 for like 2 months now. Let's be real.
No, I kind of have to.
But
No,
I feel-
actually, I didn't. I didn't. It was like 2 weeks before I turned 28. I was like, oh, this is cool. 28's fine.
I've never been afraid of age, to be
I
completely
wasn't
honest.
until, for some reason, like 27. I was like, oh my god, 28.
Like,
Like,
I'm
that's
like-
officially your late 20s.
I'm 2 years away from 30. I'm not
Mhm.
afraid. I'm not
No,
afraid.
I'm
because
not now.
I remember you guys talking about in the first podcast with Sarah, like, there's no way I would go back to even being 27-year-old cat. I would not go back to where I was freaking 7 years ago. No way.
Oh god. No.
I was so lost 7
I
years
could,
ago.
I could stop getting older. That'd be cool. 28
We could
sounds
stop
good.
the clock, but as long as we're at the
But
mental where we
I
are
would never
mentally
go
now.
back. I would never go back. I used to be like a workaholic, borderline type A, like just really only cared about like my own agenda. Like I wasn't really worried about like what other people were going through or why anyone would act the way that they acted. I was just concerned with why they were treating me in a certain way. Like I never like put it in retrospect.
Empathy.
And actually like to get deep for a second.
I
one
feel
of the
like we've been
things-
deep this whole time, girl.
Well, one of the things that I like still haven't really forgiven myself is that when you were going through that, I feel like I distanced myself from you because I didn't know how to act.
I feel like a lot of people in my life distanced themselves from me, but I feel like that's a huge reason of why I decided to, dig myself out of that hole, because I wanted those people in my life. I feel like, man,
Well, I mean, to hear you say that, like, I'm glad to hear you say that, but, like, I'm sorry.
don't be sorry, man. Don't be sorry. Because I feel like, no matter what, I accept your apology. That's for sure. Because even we met when we were 3 years old, man. We lived our whole entire lives together. Like, there's no way. I feel like there's a certain reason why, like, you distance yourself, and that was a big reason of why I decided to turn my life around. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if you would have been there that whole time, maybe I wouldn't have had enough courage or oomph to, want to be a better person or want to dig myself out of that hole, because the most important people in my life, I don't want to say weren't there for me, but did distance themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like everything happens for a reason. You know what I mean? Everything happens for a reason. And I'm not that person that I was back then, and you're not that person you were back then. You know what I
It's
mean?
crazy. It's like we're like the genuine, happy, positive people we were when we were kids.
Absolutely. And I
But
feel like
with all of
everything
the
we have
knowledge
dealt
and
with.
wisdom from those
Absolutely.
years, but without being tainted by it. And I think that's really fucking cool.
Everything
I think that's
we've
the
dealt
coolest
with
part of it.
led
I never
us
really
here
thought about
right
it
now.
like that. But it is. It's like we've almost returned to like the genuine happiness of our youth, but with all of the knowledge of our past.
Absolutely, man. Seriously, because I feel like if we didn't go through exactly what we went through in the past, we wouldn't be here today. Obviously, you know, I could have very well fallen into my addiction. I could very well not be here. The depression could have got me. The addiction could have got me, but it didn't. Like, bitch, we here. We here.
And I am so glad you're here.
Thanks.
I could not imagine life without Carly.
And
I really
whoever,
Stop it.
whoever's listening to this that could be going through the same thing, we're fucking glad you're here.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
And
the
you
reason why
are
we-
enough.
Whether it be depression, fuck yes, you are enough. That is my life's motto at this moment right now. You are enough. Don't ever let anybody make you feel like you're not enough, because if somebody makes you feel like you're not enough, fuck them. Get them out of your life right now, because that is nothing but toxicity. Seriously. And I feel like you have to, for so many years I didn't love myself, for so many years, and I feel like I had to feel how to not love myself so much in order to love myself, you know? I feel like you really learn how to love yourself by hating yourself. And I know that sounds so crazy, but you have to hate every ounce of who you are in order to be like, you know what? Eventually you got to learn how to love yourself. Or at least you got to want to, you know? You got to want to love yourself.
You're not going to be perfect every day. You know, some days you'll wake up and, you know, mentally, physically, whatever, like you'll just not love yourself. But when you notice that it's becoming a habit, something's got to change.
Absolutely. I feel like, and I don't want to blame anybody. I don't want to blame anybody, because I feel like you yourself could be, even your thoughts, even what you tell yourself every day could be the most toxic. The people you love the most could be the most toxic. You yourself can be the most toxic to yourself. But you have to want to be a better person. You have to want to be positive. You have to want to be that light in people's life, you know? You don't want to be a negative person that nobody wants to be around.
So, because you've gone through that, right? Somebody that wants to come out of that, you obviously tried like pharmaceutical solutions for that. You tried herbal solutions to that. But right now, like, you're the happiest I've seen you ever, and there's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's no pharmaceutical assistance. There's no herbal assistance. There's nothing.
I feel
So
like
how does someone get to that point? What are you doing? What's in the water?
love,
Oh,
support.
but I think you were there before that love. I think that you had a revelation within yourself, that revelation that you are enough. And like, were there anything that you like did, like breathing, or just like eating better, or like walking, or
Yes.
just taking little time outs, or
There
like, what did you
was-
do?
There was about a month of my life where I was completely plant-based. I want to say vegan. And that is such a stigma right now in the world of like being vegan. Oh my God, you're vegan.
Yeah, but people also judge it 'cause they
Plant-based.
don't know about it. So I mean, preach.
Being plant-based, doing yoga every day, breathing exercises. I feel like so many people think that's such a joke. It's not a joke.
No, dude.
It's absolutely not a joke, because if you're putting into your body exactly what the earth gives you, I feel like it could give you so much life. So
And
much
like,
life.
okay, you know I love a steak, so
Bitch, I
sorry.
love steak too.
the earth gave
I
me
loved,
that steak too.
I loved steak. Let's
I
be real.
love steak.
But also, when I stopped eating red meat, I feel like my anger
Okay,
cut
man,
down
don't
by
eat
half.
it every day. I might have like a steak a week. I'm not just like waking up and eating steak and potatoes
You
and then
asked.
going out to dinner and eating steak.
You
So
asked.
you felt physically like better,
Incredible.
and like did it help mentally too, in a way?
Being plant-based?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
for
a-
sure.
Like that
Absolutely.
fog, brain fog.
A million times over. If I had enough strength right now that I did when I was plant-based for like, I want to say it was at least like a whole month, it changed my life. Like there was like the anger cut down by half. Like, because let's be real, when you go through a lot of shit in your life, you will be, you hold on to that anger. What I've been
Anger's
through,
always been your demon.
Anger
And like
has
letting go
always-
has been really a part of your like triumph,
Man.
for sure.
Absolutely. I feel the same way.
Bronson has helped you with that.
I'm going to say Bronson. I'll say it over and over and over again. Bronson saved my life. That's for sure. He saved me, man. That's my babies. That's my little babies.
Okay, so plants.
Plants.
Okay, so you did plant-based diet. So I said I love steak. Sorry, I'm just mental tallying in my head. But no, what I was gonna say. So I can't really testify for the plant-based thing because I've never done it. But I am intrigued. I do think that the brain fog reduction is definitely a thing. I get the appeal. I do. I'm just weak.
Let's be real. It was probably like 6 or 7 months ago, 8 months ago almost, that I was like plant-based for that month. Until to this day, like I remember like how I felt that month. Like it was life-changing. It really was. And even if people could try and go, even for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks or whatever, it changes your life. It really does. Which, let's be real, right now, not plant-based. Not gonna lie.
Is it? I mean, what exactly can you? What's the type of foods that you can eat with a plant-based diet?
I would say anything that grows from the ground, potatoes, fruits, vegetables. Like, I will say chickpeas. Chickpeas is my life.
What is that? What's that? You can have grains, right? Can you have grains?
Oh yeah, bread,
Okay,
because that
so you
comes
can have
out of the
grains.
ground.
But no, what's that? It's like rice, but it's not. It's like a vegetable.
Lentils,
No, I want to say it's like Q something.
quinoa,
Quinoa, yeah.
quinoa.
Q something.
You know,
Same thing, right?
I wasn't really ever a fan of quinoa.
No? I tried just like a bite from
I don't think I've ever
One
tried
bite.
it.
from I think it was Katie's lunch at work. I don't know. Somebody just fed me a spoonful of quinoa, and it wasn't
It's
terrible.
good.
Yeah, it was Katie. 'cause
People
she was
think
on,
all
like,
you could eat
the
is like the
newest,
blandest shit when you're
Instagram
vegan.
diet.
No, like there are so many options. Like I would talk so much more about that if I was vegan right now. But let's be real, chicken, cheese, it's my downfall.
Oh my God,
Carly
yes.
watched What the Health, and it haunts her entire life.
I didn't watch that all the way through.
Let's
'cause
be
I had
real,
to-
I've never
Everybody
watched it
stop
because,
eating
again, I like steak, and I don't want anyone to deter me on that because I do enjoy my steak.
Have you watched What the Health?
I just said I don't want to watch it.
Okay, well you should. We won't go there though, because so many people turn this off.
She's been trying to get me on there.
They'll turn this
Not
off. They'll
get me
turn
on-
this
trying to
podcast
get me on
off
the
if
kick.
I tell them not to eat steak. So we won't go there.
You're in a 50-50. You're fine. You're not outnumbered by anyone. Nikki loves steak too. She
I love
also
steak.
loves
I
leaves.
just don't eat steak. Let's be real.
I really don't either.
Bro,
So.
sorry, y'all's husbands don't cook steak like mine because I gotta eat a steak. So
Bitch,
I
I don't know if I would
will give
want
him
Nick's
his
steak.
his kudos. Ew.
Not like that, weirdo.
No, ask Chris because Chris said the last steak that Nick cooked Chris, he said was the best steak he ever had.
Yeah,
ask him.
but I don't like it all
Ask him about
pink
it.
and stuff.
So now Nick sends him pictures of his steak when he cooks steak. So if you go through their text messages, there's probably just
It's
like a bunch of pictures
of steak. But you know
okay,
what?
so seriously, all right. So before we do lose someone by talking about food for too long, yoga and meditation, like seriously,
Dude.
like meditating, just so everyone knows, because I feel like there's a
Breathing
stigma around
exercises.
meditating for people that don't meditate. Meditating can be anything. Whatever you do to just take a time out to consciously be with yourself,
Focus on breathing.
reset yourself, focus inward on your breathing, or even if you don't want to focus inward, if you want to focus outward, like just look at a tree and the breeze and the trees and whatever, drink your cup of coffee. You don't have to like sit cross-legged on the ground saying Like,
No, really
whatever you want to do, like, meditation can be whatever to whoever, and that's what I love about it. Like, there's so many different things that are like, oh, how do I meditate, or how do I do this? But it's like, everyone's different. So that's what I love about it, and that was just my side note meditation rant.
There's a little YouTube lady called Yoga with Adrienne, and she changed my life also. I'm telling you, man. Yoga and breathing exercises, like, until you do it, you won't realize how much it can
Right.
really help you. Like I said, stigma. Everything is a stigma right now. Being vegan, yoga, meditating, breathing exercises, but until you do it, then you'll be able to feel the benefits. And once you feel the benefits from that kind of stuff, then you'll be like,
Yes, dude.
this is what they're talking about.
I have a Beachbody On Demand subscription. It is the shit. Do you know how many yoga programs are on there?
Beachbody is life-changing too, man.
Oh my god, you can take it anywhere now. I literally just streamed it on my phone because I was also listening to our podcast in this room before Nick edited it. I wanted to make sure that I had like heard the whole thing all the way through. Sorry, Nikki. But anyways, so I was like working out in here too because I had it playing over the loudspeaker. So I just like had my phone sitting on the desk and I was just like doing jumping jacks, hoping that it didn't like make a speaker fall off the shelf or something.
Stop.
But no,
You
so
gotta stop that
I've
shit.
been doing 2 different programs right now, but one of them is a yoga program. And this yoga stretch video has like changed my life. Because I used to be so sore. If you've ever done 21-day fix and you've done total body cardio, the first time you've done it when you've given up and not finished the 3 weeks, which I'm sure everyone has done at least once, the first time you've done total body cardio in a while, if you do the whole video, you're not walking the next day. But pro tip, if you do a yoga stretch video after that, you can walk the next day. It hurts a little, but you can actually do it. So keep that in mind. So, okay,
Physical activity of any sort can make you very sore.
we are not licensed doctors or physicians.
No, let's put a disclaimer in there real quick.
Absolutely.
We're just a bunch of friends sitting in a room recording our conversations.
We are just a bunch of friends sitting in a room.
It feels good.
Feels good.
I don't know that song.
Oh, it's on a workout video this week.
That's good.
Okay, so are you like watching, listening, or like into anything right now? Like a show?
What I watch
a
is my
podcast?
kids' freaking cartoons and movies. No, actually, the podcast I've been listening to the most is your guys's.
Oh, we're number one.
We're
Like
number
SpongeBob.
one. We're number one. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I feel like this could it could go far.
So we're gonna have hats coming soon. The we're number one hats. No, I'm just kidding. We're not.
Oh, I was like, damn, girl, that was quick.
But that's definitely an idea. So we can write "you're number one" in quotes with
How
your name
about
underneath
you
it.
are enough? Let's go back to that. You
Yes.
are enough.
I like that.
For
That can
sure.
be
That will always
the
be my
phrase
favorite thing.
and
You
the
are
title.
enough.
Yes.
So many people in your life can make you feel like you're not enough, but until you realize that you are enough.
It's everything. It's at work.
So
it's
much.
with your parents. It's with your significant
I-
other.
Unfortunately,
Even honestly,
I feel
like these people that have teenage kids that like they're so wrapped up in themselves, and I'm not judging them because we've all been that teenager that's so wrapped up in yourself you don't realize, but like that shit hurts. Like having Bronson now, right? Can you imagine if he was 15 years old and was like, "Mom, I hate you. Like you don't understand me."
I honestly, to be completely honest, I feel like I will be so ready and so supportive if he ever said anything like that to me, because I know what it feels like to hurt, you know, and I also know what it feels like to hurt so bad and have your parents just be like, "Hey, it's all in your head." You know, I feel like going through so much by myself for so long, it kind of I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel like it kind of helped me be a
You
parent.
grew wise,
I'm
not wounded.
Exactly. I am wise, not wounded. I feel like it conditioned me to be ready for anything that Bronson might throw in my face. You know what I mean? Because, like, I will never turn my head. I will never turn my back. Like, emotions are everything. Emotions are absolutely everything. And so many people, I feel like, again, our parents, it was kind of like a sweep it under the rug, turn your head. Hey,
Right.
it's all in your head, but really it's not.
It's that mom
Emotions are
voice. You know, like
everything.
your mom used to be like beating your ass, and then she would answer the phone, and she'd be like, "Hello."
Actually, no.
No. Oh, okay. It's just mine. Did your mom used to do that? Oh.
See, man,
real?
listen, we all go through some different shit.
Because Doe
Okay?
used to do that shit too.
But
Like, she
you're-
would literally have a paddle in one hand and the phone in the other, and she would just be like, "Sarah, Susan, hello."
See, my parents, we kind of grew up kind of post, so we never had cell phones.
Okay, it was a house phone. I mean,
It was always debt collectors, let's be real.
nobody had caller ID back then, so you didn't know. You couldn't hang up on them until you answered. You couldn't just pre-hang up on people like
Oh,
you
it
can
was just
now.
the 1-800 sweetie. Come the fuck here. Get over here.
I ain't got it. Let's be honest though, like you can't hang up on people though like you used to.
No, we ain't got that flip phone no more to where it feels satisfying to be like, click.
Yes.
We
Now you
all
just
know
hit
what
the
it
button.
felt like to have that flip phone and be like, I fucking hate you.
Bro, do you remember because we were just talking about like MySpace and AIM and all that shit. AIM was your shit.
AIM was my shit, man.
AIM was your shit.
I was lucky
I didn't get
enough.
to have AIM for the longest time,
You had
and then when
AOL. Oh, I'm sorry. You had the more expensive shit named
No,
AOL.
I just had
I had that
my
free
mom,
ass
my
download
parents were
called
just
AIM.
old. Do you think I liked it? Do you know what my parental controls were? My dad said that I'm grounded from the podcast that released today. Well, the podcast that released on Tuesday. My dad wrote on the comments and
Oh,
was
no.
like, "You're grounded. Now go to your house."
Don't go to your house. Man, but I feel like
'cause I
when
said
you're
on
the
the-
first child of somebody
Oh my
or when
God.
you're the fourth child of somebody, life can be a lot different. Like, think about it. My oldest sister is 12 years older. Like, by the time my parents got to
Shit,
me,
I'm
it's
12
like,
years
bitch,
older than
bye.
Cameron, so yeah, I feel you, but I was the one that had to go through the shit.
Think
You're
about-
Cameron.
Think about how much leniency Cam gets compared to you. Frenzia's behind you.
I know, it's crazy. Like, I don't even know
I'm
if
the
he would
youngest
know
of four.
what a parental control lock was.
Hell no, my parents didn't give no shits about parental control.
No, I'm saying like
I
if
can see
Cameron,
that
if I
scatter
asked
porn.
Cameron, because we had the same. No, for AOL.
Oh.
AIM, there was no restrictions like that.
But
AOL.
I feel like in Cam's days, there is no AOL.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Or
he'd be like,
AIM.
"What do you mean you could only go online for 2 hours a day?"
See, and
I
now
was
he
like,
has
"What you mean? What do I mean?"
when
And it
you
took
were
2 hours to
12
find
and when
something 'cause
he
I didn't
was
have Google.
12. I know.
So,
I know. Life's different, man. And
no, but do you
it's-
remember? Can I just say something? Do you remember when you helped me make my first AIM screen name? And do you remember what it was?
No. Cat something something. No. What was it?
It was, "Oh dang, it's Cat."
Oh my
Was there an
90.
X? Was there an X between
No.
the oh dang and the it's cat? Because
No,
I
it
feel like
wasn't
X's were
that
everything
bad,
back
but it
then.
was that bad. And we like thought it was so cool.
Dude,
So what
I
was
had
yours? What was
Car-
your last one?
My last AIM screen name was Carly X, dude.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
It was
what was
that
your
for
first
so long.
one?
Oh,
So that was the
Jesus.
only one I ever had was "Oh dang, it's Cat." And actually, like, one of my like credit cards still has that as the login.
Oh my
I
god.
swear to God. Actually, no, it's my PNC one.
Bitch,
It's
it's
my actual bank.
2018 and shit.
Yep, but I just never changed it.
I think my very first one was Seen Nikki.
See, bitch.
Scene.
My very last one was Legendary Nikki. Mine weren't as cool.
Those are pretty cool. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man, nostalgia at its finest.
That's literally what I like. You are my nostalgia. That's
We
why I
go
loved when we
back.
worked together. So it was like the coolest time. So you'd be like, "Oh my God, do you remember this person?" I was like, "No," and you're like, "No, bitch, come over here." You're like, "You'll see exactly what I'm talking
Dude,
about."
working in Taylor, it's like a fucking high school reunion.
I know, dude.
Have I said fuck too many
No.
Okay, fuck.
No, dude. I mean, yeah, I've worked in Taylor, like, for way too long. But at
couldn't
least
do
now,
it.
like, I only see the ones that, like, care about themselves. Because they're there to better themselves,
Dude,
right?
I feel like, what was it, the last podcast?
Versus,
where
like,
you're
you don't
I
always
like
see
to pretend
people's...
to not
So, okay,
see people.
I don't want to say that they're only the ones that care about themselves, but, like, you don't always see people's best sides at 2 a.m. in the drive-thru, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll cut to the cackle.
We see this scary ass shit.
Yes.
Oh, man. So we don't mention that?
No.
All
That
right.
part of me is dead forever.
You're right. You're right. There's a lot of parts of me that's dead.
Mm-hmm.
They've been dead
It's so
for a
weird.
long time.
I don't know. I just...
Can we cut to the whole turning 28 thing? Because I feel like a new person.
Yes, dude. So I've been talking back and forth with a girl that I want to have on the podcast in the future, and she's like really into like spirituality and stuff like that. And I'm definitely gonna ask her about Saturn's return. So I'm not gonna like embarrass myself and
Let her talk
pretend
about
like
it.
I'm an expert on something that I'm not. But in layman's terms, or in like dumb terms, or whatever, whomever that knows what I'm talking about hears this and thinks whatever level I'm at. I'm not claiming to be an expert. Disclaimer. So basically, like what your Saturn return is it takes 28 years for Saturn to return to the exact alignment that it was at when you were born. So essentially, like that's a significant birthday for you because you're literally like signifying returning
Is
to
that
like
why we
who
all
you were
feel
born to be.
alive?
And I truly do feel that.
Oh
So
my
it's
God.
anywhere between 27 to like 29 and a half is how long it takes. So that's why you've kind of been feeling that way for like a year, and you'll probably still kind of feel that way until it like actually reaches the exact point.
I feel like breaking up with
That's kind of
someone can
freaking
be
crazy,
rough,
right?
but it can make you feel alive.
Isn't it weird though that we all felt that?
No, because I feel like we're all 28. So if that's if
Weird
people
in a
don't-
good way. Like
if
it was.
people
It's
don't
crazy.
realize we're feeling it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we're
Art thou feeling it now?
now feeling. Shout out to SpongeBob. Shout out to Mr. Krabs.
SpongeBob like took over Carly's entire childhood. SpongeBob and Eminem, Marshall Mathers and SpongeBob.
You know
SquarePants.
what? Marshall Mathers got me through a lot of shit in life.
Hell
Okay?
yeah!
He's
Shout
the
out to Eminem. We open to having you on the show. We from the B.
only from the D. From the D. Hey, that's an Eminem song. Let's be real.
All right.
All right, all right, all right.
All right.
Oh, okay, Matthew. You could call me Mr. McConaughey. I'm done. I'm done. Let's cut that out.
Oh, great.
Oh,
I
man.
don't remember what I was saying.
Who really ever does remember what
Oh.
they're saying?
Just the Saturn return ship. It's creepy.
It's creepy. First of all, I have never
Cool
felt so
creepy.
alive. I've never felt so alive. I felt lost for so long, and now I feel alive.
Did you enjoy my birthday?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I feel like your birthday. I mean, like I was into like yoga and meditation and shit before that.
Mm-hmm.
That was like
Like,
that was a whole nother level. First of all, being around people who were open enough to feel or maybe understand or at least try and like pretend to understand what you've been feeling for so long. Like, I feel like I've grown so much. I feel like that opened so much. Like, you got to become one with the universe. You know what I mean?
well, that's
And
all that I fucking wanted. I just wanted everyone to just feel something.
I
Even
feel
if
like,
it was that they felt I was
man.
losing my mind, I don't care. I just wanted them to feel something. And I feel like everybody
It
did.
was so
Even
good.
like Matt, Ab's boyfriend, he was like, Ab, did you just take me to like, did I just get initiated into a cult? Like, what is happening?
It was so good though, because even laying on the ground, looking up at the stars, breathing deep, like that is what you're supposed to do as a freaking human being. Like, we used to live on the ground. Like, we didn't have houses back in the freaking cave days. Like, you laid on the ground, you became one with the universe, you looked up at the stars, and like I feel like that is what makes you feel alive.
Yeah, dude. And, like, one thing that I've been noticing that's just, like, been popping up to me lately, and it started there, was, like, why is it so hard to say something positive about yourself?
Because we live in a society to where conceited isn't okay. And not even that it's like conceited, but to love yourself isn't even okay at a certain point. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
because as soon
I
as
think
you
that
say
that's-
something positive or about yourself or something you love about yourself, someone's like, "Oh, you're full of yourself."
Literally.
I
That's
think
literally
that's
their
changing, though.
reaction.
Do you guys think?
To an extent, I still feel like there's people that are like, "Oh, like
Why don't-
maybe you should."
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's changing to me because, like, we're all getting older. So I think, like, our aged people,
Generation.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's getting better. Because, like, I definitely still see that with, like, younger girls.
Yes.
Like, anytime that I see and interact with, like, younger girls, like, in, like, their early 20s, stuff like that, like, it does seem to be kind of catty still. You know what I mean? Like,
It's crazy to be able to sit back and see that kind of thing. Because I feel like our generation, well, which we're all 28, so what? You know what I mean?
not all of them. I just want to clarify because there's actually
Right.
2 specific 20-year-olds that I've been spending a decent amount of time with, and they're pretty fucking cool, and I want them to think that was about them. So if you thought it was about you, it probably wasn't.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like our generation is really learning how to support each other as women. Like, I feel like now it's bigger to support each other rather than tear each other down. And I think
Dude,
that's
so important.
I think
It
that's
is.
the biggest step. I feel like in women in our generation, I feel like that is huge. Because for
Literally-
so long where it was like, oh, gross.
Yeah,
like,
people
oh, look
our
at that
age
girl,
specifically,
look at this
like,
girl. And now
I
it's like,
don't-
you go, bitch. I like you.
I don't even feel though.
support you.
I think it's literally like people like our age. Like, I don't even think people that are like 35 are at that point right now. I don't
No.
think people at 25 are at that point
No.
right now.
Right.
It's like just our age
Absolutely.
where we're just like, yes, you fucking do you.
It's
You know what I mean?
It's
Like-
so important. It's so important to
I'm not gonna pretend,
feel and
you
not
know-
care what people think.
Yeah. I'm not going to pretend like holier than thou, like old thoughts don't creep up in my head or whatever, because it is a struggle, but it's a choice. It's a choice to be positive and supportive. It's not always something that comes naturally, but you have to make that choice.
It's huge, and I'm on that like supportive train. You know, like I
Yes.
don't want to. Like, you can scroll on your wall on Facebook, like you guys were talking about the last episode about how social media is such a huge thing right now. I feel like back then when we were, say, in high school even, or like in our early 20s, it was so huge to just like hate on everyone. And now, like, that we're 28, whether it be the cosmos, whether it be Saturn's return or whatever, I feel like being supportive towards other women is like the thing right now. And if you're
Right.
not on that bus, get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like, go take your negative
Like,
ass somewhere else.
Liking someone's bomb ass selfie doesn't get you more likes. That doesn't make your selfie look better. And their selfie still looks just as fucking good. So
Exactly.
you might as well just like it and be supportive.
Like
'cause no
it.
one likes a bitter bitch.
Nobody likes a bitter.
Bitter bitch party of one, because no one wants to sit with you.
You can't sit with us, positive ass bitches.
Unless you want to be positive, then you can sit with us.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
we accept
Come on.
change.
No, we're good. We got pizza and wine. Come on, come on. As long as you're positive, we'll
High
accept you.
vibes.
High vibes only.
High vibes. So. Oh, don't do that.
Why?
So, I think I want, like, our message, our metaphorical rainbow for this
Is it the
episode
double
to
rainbow
say-
though? Because it better be
Yes,
the double
because I
ass
wanted to
rainbow.
say, you are enough.
You are so enough. You've spent so much time and so many years thinking you are not enough. Like, guess what? It is time to realize that you are enough. And anybody who makes you feel like you're not enough, fuck 'em.
Mm-hmm. And the
Fuck 'em.
sign on the door says, no low vibes allowed. It doesn't actually say that. It's
A metaphorical sign on the door says.
we all looked at it, and let's see what Nick has on there. It says the All-American calendar, and
Nobody
it's
cares.
a bunch of presidents. So
presidents who
I
try
didn't
and
expect
warp
you
your
both to look
brain.
over there, I'll just be honest. But anyways.
Let's
So,
just say, like, there are so many people in your life that will try and make you feel like you're not enough, will try and make you feel like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing you do, nothing you say, nothing you wear, nothing you look like will ever be enough. But then there will be those people in your life that will absolutely 100% change the way you look at yourself or the way you feel about yourself. You know what I mean?
it's also, though, like, you can't be enough for someone else unless you're enough for yourself.
Absolutely. You have to, it sounds so cliche.
Self-love is not selfish.
That's another train to hop on, is the self-love train. And if you think that you're too good to fucking hop on that self-love train, well, you'll never get to where you need to be, because I feel like self-love is so huge.
I don't feel like people think they're too good for it. I feel like a lot of people think,
They're not
don't-
good enough.
well, it's that, and then they also don't feel justified to spend the time on themselves.
You know?
Someone that, say, like, is a mom with, you know, a bunch of kids and a full-time job and a husband and a house, and literally, like, couldn't tell you the last time she took a bath or did a workout or just, like, went shopping for herself or just went for a walk in the park by herself. You know, like, anything. Just, like, sat in the car and listened to a song and just took 5 minutes for yourself.
A lot of people, unfortunately, don't get that time or chance or opportunity in their day, you know?
I don't want to say that they do, because obviously, like, I would be way more empathetic than that. But I think that if you don't have, and this is like a thing, I don't know who said it, but somebody said it. If you don't have 10 to 15 minutes to take for yourself, I think the quote is actually to meditate, but I think that word alone intimidates people. So if you don't have 10 to 15 minutes to take for yourself, then you need an hour, because that's how far off track you are. That's like the quote. If you don't have 10 minutes to meditate, you need to take an hour.
You don't realize how much you lose yourself until you feel completely lost. And once you feel completely lost, I feel like that is the time that you need to find yourself again.
Right. So you may not feel like you have that extra 10 minutes in the day. And maybe you do a ton. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do a ton. But it's so important. It's important for all of those people that you're busting your ass for, that you take that time for yourself. Because then you're giving them a better version of yourself. And that's really something that I've been learning. You can't burn yourself out and expect to give your all. If you're not depositing anything in your bank, then you're gonna run out.
It's kind of like
gonna run
like your
dry.
cup. Like, if you're continuously pouring your cup out and you're not getting anything poured back into that cup, your cup will always be empty. You gotta at least make sure your cup is half full. You know what I'm saying?
Guess it depends on how you look at it. But if your glass looks half full, then I think it's okay.
No, you're right. You're right. Is it half full or is it half empty? You always want to look at it as half full.
It's half full, my friends.
It is always half full.
It's half full. All right, y'all. I think we're going to wrap it up.
Maybe
So-
we got something from this.
So it's
Can you
July
follow
10th.
us?
It's Carly's birthday. So we're going to do a big birthday shout out to Carly. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! We 28, bitches. We
We're
is
28. So now we're all officially 28. So we hope you guys have a good week. We hope this podcast finds you well. We love you.
We love you. You
Love you
are
guys.
enough.
See you
See you next week.
Bye.